With less than a month to the swearing in of a new administration in Nigeria, professional bodies, labor leaders, religious leaders, and other concerned Nigerians are stating their expectations from the incoming administration, urging the Buhari-led administration to live up to its campaign slogan, which is change to bring about a total change in the country. Ben Television took out time to talk to some in Abuja, where they bear their mind on expectations from the incoming government.
Our expectation is clear. We're also part of the whole process of change. We're excited that we have peacefully transited, but don't forget that this change must not just be in what, it has to be in deeds. Increasingly now, in the last 3 weeks, the senators, the reps that we have elected, some politicians who have won offices, they are only talking of who will become the next minister, who will become the next speaker, the next Senate president. They have forgotten the electoral promises. And when they were campaigning, what did they tell us? There will be light, there will be water. Now they have forgotten about that. They are looking for more jobs for themselves. Our expectation is that Buhari must deliver on promise. And we are going to assist him to deliver so. He must create jobs for the teeming unemployed people. He must be able to revive the industries. He must make sure the naira value stop going down. You know, he must make sure there is law and order. There is security for all. And above all, he must also speak for us in the Committee of Nations. The reason why we're having lawlessness in South Africa, you know, the killings of other African leaders, is that Nigerian leaders are not on duty.
We like the theme of the incoming administration. The fact that the administration has said it will deal heavily with corruption in our processes. Records show that the corruption in engineering projects is about the highest anywhere in the world, really. We are not an exception. But so if somebody is going to deal with it, it is something that will excite us. Because on our own part, way back in 2002, we started this process of finding a way to deal with issues of corruption in engineering projects.
I think the construction industry has been passing through a very difficult period, and despite all things that we've been trying to forge ahead, but all the same, what we tell the new government is to make sure that the contract already awarded are sustained, so that at the end of the day we will not have a backlog of abandoned projects. And secondly, our employers, a lot of them are being old. And what I'm telling you now has given back to over 20,000 loss of jobs in the industry. And if care is not taken, more will see sink if attention is not paid to this direction. And we employ this present administration to try as much as possible to pay the backlog of debt going to the construction companies.
We want the incoming government to improve more on security, because it is when there is security you have an environment to go about the duties. And we would like the incoming government to improve on roads so that we can be able to have a free access to one city or the other. And then thirdly, we want the incoming government to improve on the economy, because if the economy is improved, this lack of job or whatever will be an history. And then lastly, we want the incoming government to improve on power. Power. Mostly Nigerians are on generators, but we have steady powers, lighting without any failure. I think more investors will come to the country.
Some also suggested how this change could be achieved.
Generally, we see that where you use square pegs in round holes, there are problems. In many of our institutions and in most of our policies in Nigeria currently, we have a lot of derailment in terms of personnel that are involved in doing certain jobs. There are a lot of engineering jobs that are being done by non-engineers. And that there's no way you can achieve the result you expect if you don't use the right personnel. There are institutions in the power sector, for especially, you have the NIPP that is headed by an accountant, you have the NEC that is headed by a lawyer, and all kinds of things. There's no way you can derive the kind of results you want. So we want him to set Nigeria on the right course this time around by putting the right people in the right places and let the policies that have been already enunciated be implemented as they are. That way we can achieve results.
The idea of expatriate quota should also be critically looked into, because if care is not taken, if that angle is not taken care of, a lot of foreigners will be, that is, the construction industry will be used as a dumping ground for foreigners, which they call, or which we call, expatriates.
They also charge the incoming administration to embrace all, not minding political affiliations. From Abuja, I am Festus Ejiroge Nefifen for Ben Television. Life without the basic amenities such as potable water, access to healthcare, access to education, and electricity can be a challenge for so many people. But for the people of Kwalita community in Gwagwalada Area Council of the FCT, this has become their lot for so many years. Kwalita community, a local settlement in Gwagwalada Area Council of the FCT with about 500 inhabitants who are predominantly farmers, cattle rearers, traders, and craftsmen, is about 1 hour 30 minutes drive away from their closest source of civilization, which is the university town of Gwagwalada. Though close to the FCT, Kwalita community cannot boast of government impact, as their only source of water is this stream, which they share with livestock and herdsmen.
We say this is my village, and the water we used to take here is not proper the way we're supposed to take water. And we are here, it's just like, I would just say, the area council doesn't know us, but they know us. We used to vote, we used to do everything, and the water that we used to take is not on the way. We used to take the water and we seek our children. When it is raining time, you will see that our children used to die here, no hospital. There's nothing here. We're just here. I see some strangers, they are here with us, so I will say my view out so that if any one of them can help us, then we thank God.
You are speaking well. This is where you were born and where you grew up?
This is where I born and I grew up in this town.
So how come you can speak English well? I'm
speaking English. I went out, I go some other state, I go to school. That is why I came back to my village. I'm staying here with them now. We didn't have school here. We didn't have school. It's only primary school that we have. But the primary school, at times when it is time, when it's the rainy time, you will see that the road is rough. The teacher, used to come regularly and stay with and teach our children. But hence, they keep the primary school. They used to manage. They used to come at times.
Soko has, however, come their way in the area of access to potable water, as Green World Matters, a non-governmental organization, brought back-to-free water filter to help them purify their water before consumption and thereby making it safe for drinking. Speaking in Kwalita community during the presentation of these devices, the representative of Green World Matters, Ms. Ladi Farouk, said that this kind gesture was as a result of a media report on television, which made the organization resolve to be of help to the community.
When our chairman saw the clip on Channels TV and the difficulty that is being encountered in this village regarding water, he promised we must come. This clip ran in January and we have been trying to come here since then. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to, and this is the day that Allah has ordained, and we're very happy to be here. water filter is technology. It is the ceramic technology that purifies the water, and that is why we are here today.
The chairman of the Gwagwalada Area Council, Honorable Abubakar Giri, who was represented by the Supervisory Councillor on Education, Honorable Isha Kaura, and the FCT Director of National Orientation Agency, Moses Abbas, in their separate remarks, said although it won't be right to say that there is no presence of government in the community, he noted that the effort by the Green World Matters will go a long way in making sure that any water source they get here is safe for drinking.
This is an innovation so enormous because it has direct bearing on health issues. We provide the water in the first place, and at times the source of the water, the handling of the water, at times the storage too, can be a problem, can bring in health challenges. But by the provision of these devices now, because I can now see two things there: provision of water or its availability, and its consumability, that is its health condition. The lifespan for these devices will not exceed 10 months or thereabout. So how can we get renewals or replacement for this? And we are into discussion as a government. We are going to go into serious partnership as to how we can get a supply to keep regular or unbroken chain of usage of this device as far as health sustenance is concerned from the water supply.
Government presence is also here. There are certain amenities that have been brought here by either government or non-governmental organization, and this is one of them today you are seeing.
They therefore call on well-meaning Nigerians to be of help to this community so that they will not be totally cut away from civilization. High point was the handing over of the devices to the community head for onward distribution to the villagers.
This is the source of water for the people of Kualita community and its environs. This is where they get water for their domestic needs. The funny thing about it is that they also share this stream with livestock that come here to drink with herdsmen. Though a temporary solution has been given to these people, but getting a borehole and attention from the Federal Capital Development Authority will actually make these people laugh in the long run. From Kualita community in Gwagwalada Area Council of Abuja, I am Festus Ejiroge Nefifen for Ben Television.
The Nigerian President-elect Muhammadu Buhari have been called upon to overhaul the security infrastructure across the country as soon as he takes over the mantle of the leadership on May 29, 2015. The presidential candidate of United Democratic Party in the just concluded presidential election, Barrister Godson Okoye, made the call in an interview with Ben Television in Abuja. Barrister Okoye expressed concern over the level of decay in the country's security infrastructure.
Why don't we use the advantage we have to help secure ourselves? If we say we have advantage in terms of human capital, we should deploy human capital in the area of security. There is a limit to what gadgets can do. There is a limit to what equipment can do. In the end, it is still the human being that will assess the situation and give you the cameras, equipment, can only record things and keep. They are not going to on their own prompt action or do things. So you need human beings. Therefore, why leave the job that can be done by 10 people to be done by one person? Bring in the people. We may need to restructure how they are paid. We may need to restructure how many hours they put to work. But for goodness sake, deploy the human beings, recruit people, train people.
Okoye also charged the president-elect to pay adequate attention to children's health, in which he claimed it has been often neglected by the previous administration.
And then you look at the area of health. For goodness sake, our healthcare delivery system is laughable. Tell me anywhere in the country where you have children's hospital. You don't have that. Yet, every day we will talk about child mortality and then the health of mothers and the health of kids. But you should have children hospital. We don't even have anyone anywhere. These are things we're talking about. We should have, okay, look at our national hospital that is supposed to be the flagship of medical practice in Nigeria. How do you see it? They just, only 6 or 7 months ago, or say just last year, that they were able to put together a trauma center.
Barrister Gossin Okoye was among the 14 presidential candidates that participated in the just concluded election. In Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting.
Akwa Ibom State High Court has convicted and sentenced a former commissioner representing Akwa Ibom State on the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC), Godwin Eyo, to 3 years imprisonment for stealing 56 transformers meant for oil-producing communities in the state. The convict, who was prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) on a 56-count charge that borders on stealing and conversion of 56 electricity transformers released to him by NDDC, was found guilty on 37 of those counts by Justice Indongan Site Intem. The convict was said to have applied for 90 electricity transformers and 4 generators from NDDC for Akwa Ibom State sometime in February 2006. An approval was given for 70 transformers, but he diverted same to his house in Eket on the pretext there was no space to accommodate the newly issued 70 units of transformers at the NDDC office in New York. From Abuja, LM Chukwamika reports for Ben TV.